Are you guys excited for El Clasico, the fantastic matchup between Real Madrid and Barcelona? Because I am, and I can't wait to talk about it. What's up everyone, it's Sam aka FIFA Brit from Gold Boys, here today to cover the Sunday soccer slate. As always, this video is sponsored by Sleeper Picks, but more about them later. Time to dive into the Sunday action, but before we get to El Clasico, I know you guys want to hear about it. It's one of the best matchups in the world. We're going to start with the Premier League, starting with Everton against Forest. I don't know if you guys know this, because I keep mentioning it in my videos every time Everton play, but Everton have not won many games recently. In fact, the last time they beat someone in the Premier League that wasn't Burnley was against Chelsea on December the 10th, 2023. They have 2 wins in the league since then, both against Burnley. So they play Forest this weekend. Maybe they can get a win against them, but they haven't had a fantastic record against anyone that isn't Burnley, so who knows? Forest, on the other hand, have only 2 wins in their last 16 games, but they also tend to score and just end up getting outscored. So this is a weird one. It's very important for the relegation battle. This is 16th against 17th, pending the outcome of the games on Saturday, but they're gonna be in the mix. You know, 16th and 17th is the best case scenario. If Luton, Sheffield, or Burnley get something done, they could be in the relegation zone by the time this game happens, which is not good for either side. So both teams are going to want to get a win over the other. I really don't think either can play it safe. We're getting to the point in the season where you can't really play for a draw. You need to get that win. And both teams to score is sitting very nicely between -130 and -140. Now, Calvert-Lewin hasn't been starting every game, so I would wait to see if he's in, because even though he's been on a bit of a weird streak lately, I don't trust Beto up top. So, yeah. If it's Forest, they've got more options. Gibbs White, Hudson and Doy, who I love betting first half shots for. They've got a bunch of options up top. They have Origi, they have Chris Wood. They've got good options. So any number of those guys, if they start, you can usually trust Forest to score a goal. Everton, on the other hand, they are playing at home, but I still don't trust them unless Calvert-Lewin is starting. Because even though he is on a really rough streak right now, he's really the best they've got. So assuming all those guys start, if you can get both teams to score on the right side of like -130, -135, I like that. Shots should also be pretty good. Problem is everyone on Forest likes to shoot, and for Everton it's basically just Calvert-Lewin. Maybe Doucouré if he's starting at attacking mid rather than centre mid. But the problem is he keeps getting Price as an attacking mid. I miss the olden days where he got Price as a centre mid and would play attacking mid as a rare occasion, and we could capitalise on that. Now he plays attacking mid almost all the time. So if he does play centre mid, you're kind of like, well, this isn't fun anymore. But this could be a really interesting game. It could also be the shit game of the weekend. As my good friend Mr. Brad Thomas said during our podcast, which is the final third, by the way, link will be in the description if you aren't listening to it already. He said on the last episode that every Premier League slate, there's always one game that ends up being a stinky game that you thought might have potential. This could be that game. It could also be the next game I'm going to talk about, which is Palace against West Ham. Now, I don't know if Palace are good, but I definitely know that West Ham are shit. They were embarrassing in the Europa League. In the first leg against Leverkusen, yeah, I know it's Leverkusen, but they had 1 shot the entire game. Yeah, they played a bit better in the second leg. They did get a goal, but even that wasn't good enough. I thought maybe they would win 1-0, lose on aggregate, and then finally end that Leverkusen unbeaten streak. But no, Leverkusen pulled some shit out of their ass like they always do. They got an 88th minute equalizer to win the tie, you know, to draw the game and win the tie anyway, so it is what it is. I don't really trust West Ham for anything apart from shots, even away from home, but Palace beat Liverpool last week. And I know Liverpool suck right now, but that's still impressive, even at home. Liverpool are an impressive squad, so beating them and not conceding a goal is a really, really great achievement for them. Now, if Elise and Eze aren't starting, forget everything I just said. I only trust Palace for anything if Elise and Eze are starting. They started last week against Liverpool, and the commentators said, I think it was the 5th game all season, that the two of them were healthy and started together. That's crazy. They are both such fantastic players, and I think it's going to be a bummer because I feel like at least one, if not both of them, are going to leave in the summer. By the way, if you read The Guardian, then you'll know that Elise is linked to Arsenal, which I'm really happy about because I would love him to be a backup to Saka because, God, he needs one. He can't play 90 minutes twice a week for us for this many seasons in a row. So Elise would be a great signing. But yeah, if Palace can keep them, that would be great. But I have a feeling the writing's on the wall. It just feels inevitable that one, if not both, will go. So hopefully they both stay healthy for the rest of this season and we can enjoy betting on them at Crystal Palace numbers, which are usually really nice because Palace haven't been historically brilliant. But with the both of them playing, they're actually quite good. I'm probably going to run a first half shots loader for this game, because I had one for the Palace-Liverpool game, which was Elise, Eze, Nunez, and Salah all to get 2 first half shots each. It was around plus 3,000. Everyone got theirs apart from Salah, who ended on 1. Not how I thought that was going to die. Kind of figured Palace would sell that, but no, Elise and Eze got their 2 first half shots. Easy. Nunez can do it in his sleep. Salah usually does it just fine, but he ended with 1. So that really pissed me off because that would have been a great hit and I didn't get it. So I'm probably going to do the exact same thing this week. The problem is trying to figure out who on West Ham is going to take the shot because it could be Antonio, it could be Bowen, it could be Kudus, it's sometimes Paqueta, but he's more of a provider, less of a shooter. My gut says Kudus and Bowen, just because Antonio I still don't really rate, even though he scored a goal against Leverkusen. Good job, buddy. I don't trust you for jack shit anywhere else. So if Bowen's healthy, I like him. If Kudus is playing, definitely like him. He's usually got really nice odds. So that's probably what I'm going to run. I'll wait for lineups because, yes, you can get a void if they don't start because they're probably not going to sub on during the first half. But it kind of ruins the odds, and I based my risk exposure on these bets based on the odds. And so if it gets reduced, then it's just kind of like, yeah, if it hits, it hits. But I'm not sure if it's worth it for me. So I'm still going to wait for lineups. But just so you know, that's what I'm planning on doing. Next game we're going to talk about, Aston Villa against Bournemouth. Villa are getting priced nicely at home, which they never used to because they had one of the greatest unbeaten streaks at home until they just kind of fell off a cliff, and now they're back in that top 4 race when they used to be pushing for the title, which I think we all know they were never going to do. It was kind of like Girona. You knew they were just going to drop out of that eventually. But they're in 4th right now. Spurs are right behind them, 3 points behind with a game in hand. So winning this game is very important for Aston Villa. They just beat Arsenal. No need to remind me. I'm well aware. And their money line at home is around -120 to -125 against a Bournemouth side that can shoot a lot, can score a lot, which is priced into the both teams to score line, which is around -125. Pretty juicy. You can't even get both teams to score over 2.5 at good odds. That's like -150, -160. So the books are expecting a high scoring game, but Villa money line is around -120. If Ollie Watkins is fit and starting, if we see Leon Bailey on the wing, yeah, I like that. That's good value. Again, wait for lineups. Ollie Watkins has had fitness issues, and I'm never really sure if Bailey's part of this squad or not. So, we'll see. But I like that value. Last game in the Premier League we're going to talk about for Sunday is Fulham against Liverpool. Liverpool are in the fucking piss right now. They have failed to score. I mean, they scored a penalty in Europa against Atalanta, even though they got absolutely pissed on in the first leg. They got a penalty there. They got shut out by Palace. And they haven't even been shooting. They had 10 shots against Atalanta in a game they started 3-0 on aggregate down. And this is a Liverpool side that's been putting up 20 to 25, sometimes 30 shots a game in a row for the past month to almost 6 weeks. Liverpool's shots have been an absolute wagon for me. And they got 10 shots. Their line was 19.5 against Atalanta. That's crazy. So I don't know if I can trust Liverpool. Now, if Nunez is starting, if Salah is starting, they're usually reliable for first half shots. One of them's probably going to get you 2, one of them might even get you 3. Problem is the odds aren't brilliant. But fortunately, on the Fulham side, my favorite first half shots guy, Rodrigo Muniz, will probably be starting up top. He will be involved. If he is starting, he is a must bet for any first half shots builder, parlay, or lotto that I run, because he is one of the most consistent guys. He's on a streak of well over 10 games with at least one first half shot. He's the ultimate builder piece, and he's the ultimate parlay piece, and he's the ultimate lotto piece. He's so good. And this Liverpool team cannot really defend. In fact, they're famous for conceding first and then going back to win games, but I can't even bank on them to come back if they concede first. So yeah, give me Muniz props, and then depending on the Liverpool lineup, they may rotate heavily because they have been rotating a lot recently. Núñez, Salah, and as always, if both of them sit, which I think is unlikely because they are both healthy, but if they both sit, then it's Luis Diaz first half shots. The same way that if De Bruyne and Haaland sit, Julian Alvarez first half shots go up a lot. Same thing over here. No Núñez, no Salah. We can trust Luis Diaz. Trust me.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Goal Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Goal Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Moving on to La Liga, let's talk about it. El Clasico, Real Madrid against Barcelona. Now, we have mixed reports about who's available for this game. Ancelotti said that the players who played 120 minutes in the Champions League win against Man City will rest. Another report said that the players are ready to go and want to smash Barcelona in their biggest derby to round off one of their most successful weeks if they can pull off a win. So we're not really sure who's going to play. Definitely a big one where you want to wait for lineups. That being said, if you are curious, the players for Madrid that did play the full 120, it's Bellingham, it's Camavinga, it's Valverde, it's Mendy, and it's Rudiger. Obviously, it's also Lunin, but he's the goalkeeper. Goalkeepers don't really get rested for fatigue. These are just the outfield players. I lean Madrid, and I also lean goals. I think Barcelona are going to be pissed. So don't get me wrong, I'll be taking them for shots because Madrid let up a ton of shots to Man City. Like a metric fuck ton of shots. Something like over 120 minutes, which is not a brilliant way of measuring it because bets only last for the 90 minutes plus whatever added time you get. Anything that happens in extra time doesn't count. But these are the metrics we get. So in 120 minutes, they conceded 30 shots and 9 shots on target. Yeah, Man City is one of the best teams in the world. Not better than Madrid, though, apparently. Sucks to suck, guys. Sorry you had to hear that if you're a City fan. But, yeah, Madrid don't really defend that well. Yeah, they didn't concede more than one goal to City, but they let up a lot of chances. The fact that it went to pens is more that City couldn't finish their chances, because they had almost 3 XG. It's more that City couldn't finish their chances than it was that Madrid didn't let them have those chances in the first place. They let them have those chances. City just couldn't convert them. So, give me Barcelona shots all day long. They just got dumped out of the Champions League with a 4-1 loss at home to PSG. Now that's just rough. Yeah, they had a red card, but if you think that red card wasn't a red card, you're probably a Barcelona fan, which means you probably are already used to denying the truth anyway. So sucks to suck, guys. Deal with it. It was definitely a red card. I'll give you the pen. Pen was kind of soft, but that Araujo red card was definitely a red. He's a fucking idiot. And yeah, I imagine you guys are going to be pissed, and rightfully so. So give me Rafinha first half shots because he is an absolute wagon. Yamal's probably good for a couple as well. And on the Madrid side, God, it depends who starts, but Vinny's always good for a couple. Rodrigo's always good for a couple. Vinny's probably good for a card if he plays because he's going to be getting in fights. They're going to antagonize him, and Vinny, when he gets antagonized, is not quite smart enough to not fight back. So a Vinny card and a Vinny to score or assist is probably a good way of going at that. But yeah, should be a fantastic game. It usually always is. But I lean goals, I lean shots, and I lean Madrid. That's how I see it. What's up, everyone? I just want to say a special thank you to the sponsor of this video, Sleeper Picks. Don't forget that you can use code GOLDBOYS to get a deposit match of up to $500 if you sign up today. Thank you again, Sleeper Picks, for sponsoring this video. And now, back to the bets. Moving over to the Bundesliga. I referenced this in my Saturday video, but we have a very important game for Champions League qualification. It is Dortmund against Leverkusen. This game is important because Dortmund can't assume that 5th place will secure them a Champions League spot. Now, it probably will, just because there are 2 German teams in the semi-finals, so they should finish in the top 2 leagues for the UEFA coefficient, which if they do, they would get that 5th spot, so it won't matter which one of them out of Leipzig or Dortmund comes 4th or 5th, because then all of them can join. But they have to play as if they're not going to get it if they finish 5th. Now, Leverkusen have just won the league. Historically speaking, if you wrap up the league early, the next game you play in the league is usually a shit show. Everyone's hungover, you kind of stop caring, even if you have like an elite winning mentality, it's natural to relax a bit after you've just won the league. The problem is that Leverkusen still haven't lost a fucking game this season. And they're going to want to keep that streak going for as long as they possibly can. And as an Arsenal fan, I want that streak to be done. And Dortmund really may be the only chance that happens, because Liverpool and AC Milan just got knocked out of Europa League, which really only leaves Roma as the last threat. And I would take Leverkusen over Roma any day. So it may come down to Borussia fucking Dortmund. If Marlon is fit, I like Marlon props. He's usually good for first half shots. If you get that market, the Bundesliga is kind of funky with that. You might only get first half shots on target. He's probably good for one of those, but it's not as fun. I like it when they can just shoot anywhere they like. If Marlon's fit, I like him. If not, Füllkrug at striker, Adeyemi on the wing, Sabitzer at centre mid. Those are all the guys I want to see. Maybe Royce gets a chance to play. Remember him? They barely play him anymore. It'd be nice if I could see him again. It'd be nice if they could win him a Champions League, but it probably won't happen. But it'd be nice. Next game I want to talk about is over in Ligue 1. In the French league, it's PSG against Lyon. This is a weird one, because the game line for total goals is 3.5. Yes, this game has been high scoring in the past. It's also had a couple of 1-0s. And with the Mbappe fuckery that goes on in this league right now, in Champions League, pretty sure Luis Enrique understands that PSG winning a Champions League is above whatever petty bullshit he has with Mbappe, because Mbappe said, fuck you, I'm leaving. Because in the league, if Mbappe starts, because sometimes he's getting benched, but if he starts, sometimes he gets subbed at halftime, and he doesn't even sit on the bench with them. He goes to sit in the stands with his mum, So his relationship with the club is pretty tenuous at best. Now in the Champions League, it doesn't look that way, because they all know that he's basically their one chance of getting into this Champions League they've been chasing ever since they got bought by basically an entire country and had oil money just pumped into them for years now. The fact that they haven't won a Champions League yet means that this entire PSG money experiment has been a failure. So I would love it if they don't win the Champions League, but they know that Mbappe's their one chance of doing it, and he will drag them there. Because if they take him off, they can't afford to do that. But in Ligue 1, they have it wrapped up basically. They're seeing it out. They don't have to play Mbappe, which means that Luis Enrique can engage in his weird petty bullshit and sub him off or not start him. So if Mbappe is playing and he's bettable for a goal, yeah, I like that. But if he's not playing, I almost lean the under 3.5 because it's like minus 130. It's very bettable, and 4 goals is a lot of goals. But most likely I will just not touch this game because I respect both clubs and I think they can both score, but there's very little value if you're interested in the over. Just a couple of games left. We're actually going to jump over to the US. We're going to talk about some MLS action. One of my favorite bets, if not my best bet for the entire weekend, is both teams to score over 2.5 in the LA Galaxy versus the San Jose Earthquakes. It's the MLS After Dark game on Sunday night, and the hit rate for this is amazing. It's hit in 8 straight matchups between these two teams. It's hit in 6 out of Galaxy's 8 league games this season, and in 6 out of 8 San Jose games this season. That's a fantastic hit rate. and it is minus 138 right now on FanDuel. I expect it to move pretty quickly. I would probably play it all the way up to minus 150. If that's too much juice for you to play, then I would consider adding in a goal scored in both halves. It's a weird prop. I've played it before, and usually it doesn't burn you. Usually if both teams score over 2.5 hits, you do get a goal in both halves. But sometimes it doesn't, and if you don't get that and then it hits anyway, you look really stupid, and you feel really stupid. So if you can just get it at both teams to score over 2.5 on the right side of minus 150, that's good. If it goes past there, not worth playing as a straight, maybe use it as a parlay piece. But I got it at minus 138, so I absolutely love that. And I played it a little bit heavier than usual. I played this to win 1.5 units rather than my usual to win 1 unit. I like this play a lot, so I went a bit heavier on that. If you're not comfortable with that, play it to win a unit, you know? Keep it safe. That's absolutely fine if that's your risk tolerance. Just letting you guys know what I did. That's the one bet that I've absolutely for sure locked in ahead of time. Don't forget, all of my official bets will be posted in my Gold Boys channel. If you haven't signed up, goldboys.com. The link will be in the description. This is a great time to sign up. I will try to have a couple of free plays shared to my Twitter. And if you aren't following me already, firstly, why aren't you? And secondly, if you're not, it's at FIFA Brit. Let's round this up. We're going to go to the FA Cup with the other semi-final. It is Coventry against Man U. Now, I've been saying this in several of my videos, but if you guys don't know by now, Man U concede the most shots in the entire Premier League. They have completely lost their shot defense composure in 2024. They gave up something like 4 or 5 games straight, conceding 20 shots. They let Brentford take 30 shots. They let Everton take like 20 or 22. They are letting up a lot of shots, and they are playing Coventry, who, yes, play in the Championship, 1 league below the Premier League, but need to be respected because they've got one of the most informed strikers in the English football pyramid in Ellis Sims. He's a fantastic player, and his first half shots look really juicy. Also worth looking at Haji Wright, the American. He's been in great form as well. I like both of those guys to shoot, and I like both of those guys to score. If the odds are really nice, big fan, I do see Man U conceding here. On the Man U side, this feels like an Anthony game. Anthony does not start very consistently, but he has got the nod in a couple of Prem games recently, and he usually gets the start in the FA Cup when there's a bit more rotation involved. He's an absolute shot wagon. The dude will shoot from anywhere. He plays on the right wing. He's a left-footed player. He loves cutting in on his left foot and just ripping. 3 first half shots, probably available around, I would say plus 250 to plus 300 if it stays there and he starts. Love that a lot. He's a great volume shooter. Doesn't play enough. I wish he played more because he'd be a great lotto builder. I say lotto builder. A great leg in a lotto. A lotto can't be a builder. That's crazy. But yeah, he's a fantastic shooter and I love him a lot. But yeah, that rounds out the Sunday soccer slate. As always, if you do think you have a gambling problem, don't forget to call the number 1-800-GAMBLER. And yeah, best of luck with all your bets. Let's end this weekend on a high note. Lots of really interesting games to look at, to watch, and to bet on. Love this weekend slate. Rounding it off with the Sunday games should be a great one. Best of luck with all your bets, and I will catch you in the next one.